Welcome, friend. First episode. You. Actually, I'm lying. It's the 8th. I I've been musing on a podcast probably like you for years and just didn't know how I would talk about anything that hasn't been talked about a million different times. Then I had a fairly confrontational conversation with a friend, very trusted advisor, consigliere, if you will. And she basically called me on my bullshit. The first few episodes started to form. And having worked with creatives for the duration of my career, since I was 18 years old, I am now 41, I was familiar with this concept that sometimes you get this idea that starts to build. And then there's this sense of urgency that takes over. And suddenly, if you don't get that idea out, you are completely disabled from doing anything, thinking about anything, even forming sentences. So I did it. I recorded 8 episodes and they've sat for the last 2 months. I wasn't sure where this was going, what I was doing, why I was doing it. And in those 2 months, I've done a lot of digging and I realized what we're doing is massive. And this podcast is designed for the person who wants to do something different, to break the mold, to unplug from the matrix, to take a step back from the automaton path and just give it a go. I have proved it can be done a different way. I've started over 38 businesses, and for the seasoned entrepreneur, that means they weren't all successful, right? I'm not bragging about that number, but what I'm saying is I've been doing this over and over and over again. I've been hired by countless business owners, boards, collectives, and individuals just like you who wanted to do something different without the golden handcuffs or the cookie cutter capitalist programming. So here we are. And the first 8 episodes, this one included, are really just about answering some basic questions, some of the most common questions that I get. I hope to continue doing that. So you can text me at 720-704-4865 with your questions. We're going to prove it can be done a different way. Yeah, I'm also a financial consultant. I have my own firm. I am a business coach. I work with established businesses. But the thing is, the real mission here is to get as many of you as possible out of the system. And shit, I mean, when Neo unplugged, even he struggled. And we ain't got Morpheus, right? Although I do hope to be your oracle. I will be your huckleberry. So this podcast is here to help. And I've worked with artists, accountants, studios, schools, agencies, hotels, spas, PR firms, marketing agencies, an equestrian facility, a therapy practice, international nonprofits. I mean, the list goes on and on. But if you're trying to do it different, if you are kind of a rule breaker or a rebel, I can relate. And I hope that my musing on some of the most popular topics I've covered with my clients, some of the best financial systems, and a lot of the mindset shifts, to be super wanky about it, but just really switching up the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you engage in your environment so that you can be successful. Because guess what? You're totally in charge. You get to create your reality and you get to design. Oh my God, I was going to say design your destiny, but that's so fucking cheesy. So once I get that cheesy, it's probably time for me to sign off. This is just meant to be an intro. So what can you expect from this podcast? A lot of me. I'm sure I'll do interviews at some point, but for the now, it's really just covering, again, the tried and tested tips of the trade, the most popular topics, and the things I've really been talking about for over 20 years now. You can also expect a fuck ton of swearing. I talk like a drunken pirate. A lot of ums. And apparently, as I've been editing, a an exorbitant amount of and so's. I do my best to edit them out. It's taken me back to my audio engineering days, so I love doing the editing. Oh, and sniffles. Apparently, I also sniffle while I'm doing this. So, gee whiz, can't wait, right? You're just so excited to jump in. I do love feedback, and I am here to support. So again, text me 720-704-4865. You can find me on the interwebs at the BZ channel. I'm pretty much on all the platforms, although Facebook just kicked me out in real time, which is amazing because, Facebook. That is officially the end of this episode. Awkward goodbyes, and I cannot wait to see what you do with what you do.